Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drakewing Gaming. Instead of me on Twitter, the Gaming Drag today. I'm coming back at you with a Let's Play episode of Changeling Tale, Grace's Path. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right back in, shall we? Alarm saying you were up and let's go. Or should I be asking her when she concocted this whole tale? You never warned her family this could happen, or Grace is a child.
Would they have believed me if I had? Anyway, she was never at risk, at least not until you returned.
It seems the discussion's come back around to accusations. I've had enough. Don't talk mince, Alana. I can't listen to your flights of fancy anymore. Please, allow me to be on my way. Instead of conceding, Alana talks faster. I pick up the flower and the pail and start walking away, trying to drown out her shouts.
Malcolm, you are the reason this is happening to her. You've unlocked something in her that another could not. It's your attraction to her that allows her to be more of her true nature. Please, listen.
Heads are turning again. This has to stop, lest our exchange replace the mermaid sighting as scandal of the week. I pause long enough to humor Alana and hiss. Alright, let me get this straight. I am unwillingly turning a young woman into a sea maiden. Do you hear those words? Know how irrational you sound.
Aye, absolutely. That's why I avoided saying anything for so long. Who would believe me? But, Malcolm, you don't have to believe me for it to be true.
Those words catch me off guard.
Grace is losing parts of herself, and gaining others, waking instincts she may be unable to control. If you believe me even a little bit, I urge you to find her. Warn her. Tell her that no good will come from the two of you staying intimate.
I consider what she's saying, wondering how Alana can be both so unsettlingly prescient and preposterous at the same time. If any of what she says is true, I may have ruined Grace's life, or made it infinitely better, or both somehow. But it's not true. It can't be. Her explanation for Grace's predicament is ludicrous. Alana, enough is enough. I'm off to find Grace.
And you'll speak to her about this? Please.
I don't believe I've ever had more women plead with me as I've had over the past few days. I'm flattered, annoyed, frustrated beyond belief. Perhaps.
She'll come to find you, I know. You need to tell her, or...
Alana pauses to take my hand. Her stiff fingers clasp onto mine as she runs her thumb along my palm. It sends a shiver through me.
Or you need to walk away.
The sun shifts behind Alana and I'm blinded. She leads me around to the stag and nanny, away from the crowds. With her hand still in mine, I feel like a child being guided by my teacher once more. Do I trust her now? What do I believe? Yeah, there's some truth to what she says. It frightens me when I start thinking over her words. How can I believe her? I know why. Because somewhere inside me I want it to be true. Why? Why, Malcolm? Because it would make my life easier right now. There would be no need for medical intervention, no praying, no confusion, no waiting around for answers. It's magic, that's all. The fairies at work. It's every bedtime story read to me as a youngster. Grace has been blessed by fae powers. It's uncontrollable. The woman the town whispers about calls a witch. Well, she's telling me such. How could I not believe it? Everything would be perfect for Grace. I could walk away from this unscathed. I would never have to see the McLeods again. It's what Grace asked for, after all, to just let her be. I pushed down that thought, not wanting it to cross my mind right now. Perhaps ever again.
Malcolm, please try to see where I'm coming from. I don't want anything bad to come to you or the McLeods.
No, Alana. You must understand how hard all this is to hear, to believe.
I do, and short of feeling it myself, I would not have thought it to be possible.
Alana squeezes my hand and lets it go. Not until she releases it do I realize how tightly I had been holding on. I slide my hand into my pocket to try and get my bearings back. I choose to ask one more question, against my better judgment. So if I stay away from Grace, she'll get better.
No, she won't get any worse. It will only continue should you stay close. Malcolm,
She wears a pained expression. It reminds me of the look of resignation on Grant's face when I made known my intent to join the ranks.
I won't tell you what to do anymore. I want you to do what's best for the two of you, whatever you both decide. Just be safe. Keep Grace safe, too.
She's letting her guard down further and tears are slipping down her cheeks.
I need to go. Be well, Malcolm.
I watch as I watch Alana fade into the crowd. Its instinct stops me from calling her back. To have her answer another one of the million questions in my head. My gut tells me I don't want those questions answered, or they'll lead to a million more. Alana's hair blows in the breeze behind her. Once my teacher now, a friend. Protector. She couldn't possibly know what it feels like to be told to abandon a person with whom you have such a strong bond. Her harsh demeanor must frighten off every man she meets. Under that exterior is someone kind, caring, and devoted, even if I hate to admit as much. Why must she be so difficult to comprehend, to trust? Any love she may carry, all that she says she has for the MacLeods, it lays hidden, buried beneath layers of piety and aggression. All her charm covered by a sense of righteousness, weighed down by loads of eccentricities. She's a study in contradictions. Perhaps one day she will allow herself to be loved. Sad. Horse. Hazel stands impatiently as I unload the last of today's market haul from her cart. There we are. Steady now. Let me get you unhitched. She's anything but steady as I unfasten her tack. The bucket of fish rests just beneath her snout. She tries to pull away, snorting in disgust. Not a fan of seafood. The last buckle comes free and Hazel trots across the paddock to the stable, wanting as little to do with the bucket as possible. Can't say I blame you, lass. Reflecting on what I've gotten myself into, part of me wants to go hide in the corner with her. Surely Hazel would be less demanding than Alana and the MacLeod sisters. It is coffee time. Alright, guys and gals, and we are back. Let's go. There we go. Okay, alright. Alright. Hazel returns my gaze with a defiant, entitled look. Perhaps not, after all. Still, her horsey needs seem much simpler than those of my neighbors right now. That reminds me, it's time to feed her daily grains. I feel her trough from the stable store and beckon her over. Your Highness, your banquet awaits. Hazel snuffles at the grains. She then gives me her all too familiar huff of disapproval and wanders back to munch on some fresh shoots growing beside the stable. Oh, come now, you acted like these were your favorite just yesterday. Oh, this horse, I swear. Sometimes I wonder if Hazel asserts her independence just because she can. My eyes fall back on the bucket of fish, and the irony is not lost on me. If anyone has an independent streak to rival Hazel's, it's Grace. And even if I don't understand it under the circumstances, I have to respect it. I set aside my frustrating conversation with Alana to focus on my Lady of the Loch. Despite my best intentions, maybe going to see her again so soon isn't helpful after all. Well, Hazel, what'd make the better gift? My company and a few fish, or giving Grace some more time and space to herself? Hazel doesn't respond, although I'm pretty sure I could guess her answer. Part of me agrees, if for no other reason than to wash my hands of this whole slippery mess. But again, I do care for Grace, and want to make sure she's well fed and looked after. The bucket of fish sits before me, both an offering and a conundrum. Go find Grace. I can't just leave Grace adrift. No matter what Alana says, I'm still worried about her. I need to see her again. Actually, that is a good secondary one right there. Okay. No matter what Alana says, I'm still worried about her. I need to see her again. Anyway, we'd have a hard time down on all these fish by ourselves, eh? I get the sense that Hazel would like nothing to do with my fish or my fishy escapades. I oblige her, pick up the bucket, and head down to the loch on foot. The waters are calm and the shore is peaceful. A lovely time and place for a picnic, if not for my stomach being tied in knots. I tell myself there's no need to be nervous. Never mind Alana. Never mind Grace's scales. Right now, I'm just here to enjoy a light meal on a beautiful day and with good company. Company who presently seems to be missing in action. Could she possibly have returned home to her sister? After a moment, I laugh out loud at the thought. No, that's not the Grace I know. If anything, she may have taken to cruising the whole length of the loch by now. I set down the pail of fish, gather some dry brush, and begin making a small fire pit on the beach. The smell of grilled fish doesn't attract her. Maybe the smoke signals will. Alright, girl, where are you? I'll rubbing my eyes real quick. Bah. Okay. The kindling has grown into a proper flame by the time I spy a pink dot out the middle of the loch. It gets closer, and soon enough, Grace's dress comes into focus. It's dripping wet as she steps out of the water, soggy as the girl wearing it.
You came!
I did, and I come bearing gifts. A trail of drips follows Grace as she comes on shore to inspect the pail. Up close, I can see that her condition is not improved.
Perch, you remembered!
Aye, fresh from the market.
That's dandy. Don't need that fire though, Malcolm. I prefer my fish raw.
Raw? Ah, Grace, that can't be good for you.
No problem. Not if they're really fresh. Watch this.
She skips back into the surf and dives in head first. A few dozen yards out, she emerges, flipping and turning nimbly. I can see how the fishmonger might mistake her for a sea nymph. It's incredible how acrobatic she's become. I'm charmed and perplexed. I guess that's life with her every day. Bending at the way she curves her body into the water like a porpoise. A few minutes later, she comes back up with a fish in her mouth.
Want some?
Fish still wriggles pathetically in her mouth. No, I've plenty here, thank you. Grace pulls her treat from her lips, dangles it above her gaping maw, and lets it drop. My stomach drops as well.
So good, so salty, and so fresh.
But it sounds like you're describing yourself, Grace. She comes to me, pinching my sides.
You devil.
I let her chase me around the fire until we tumble adjacent to each other on the fine pebble beach.
You know, that fire
was never for the fish. I built it simply so that sparks could fly between us, Grace.
No puns.
She flicks a pebble at me, then smiles. This is my favorite way to see you, Grace. Happy.
You'd better get used to it then.
Seeing you?
Me being happy.
She gives me an odd look, starry-eyed with a hint of remorse.
You know what, Malcolm? Now that I've taught myself to fish...
You'll run the fishmonger out of business.
Ha! No, I was thinking I could actually do it. Survive out here. There's a fresh spring behind the castle ruins and...
She looks at me pleadingly, as if not to question her.
I could live in open waters forever. I have a real home now.
I let her words sink in. Don't surprise me, but that doesn't make them any easier to hear. So you won't go back?
I didn't say that.
The idea is there. The seed planted. I can tell she's strongly considering it, as she truly thought everything through. Grace, take it from me. There's more to survival than food and drink. Think about when the winter squalls come in off the North Sea.
I can take shelter in the grotto. My body will keep me warm.
My mouth hangs half open for a moment. Perhaps she has thought this through. I changed tactics. So I'm actually going to pause it right there. I got to head off to work. Thank you all so much for watching. I love you all, and I shall see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!